This is the Heel to Face podcast. We're joined as always with Brandon Icebreaker Clements. If you're watching on YouTube, he is to my right. He is to your left. I'm Jared Wicks. You can follow me on Twitter at that name, Jared Wicks, and the program at Heel to the Face. Most importantly, why our Twitter information is so important, because we are very much into the Twitter sphere. It is the access of this whole segment, our social media smackdown of the week. We're going to start things off with our Twitter question of the week. And if you didn't catch it, this past week on Raw, the lowest rated Monday Night Raw of all time. We WWE likes to promote how long Raw's been on the air, how many hours of Raw have been on the air, how many years Raw has been on the air. Compare it to Gunsmoke, compare it to all these long-time running shows. I don't think WWE tweeted out that they did something this week they've never done, and that was an historic low amount of viewers. I was going to say visitors, but viewers and visitors with their eyes. I could probably rephrase that. 2.470 million. I don't know how you get the zero on the end there, but a low amount of viewers this past week. I don't know if that counts old Raw, like Raw when it was only an hour long in like 93. I read historically the lowest ever, but again, Raw has been pre-taped before. It's been on Tuesday nights at 11 o'clock after the Dog Show in 1997. It's been on Tuesday night, in 1997 because of something else preempting it. So it's had issues where I think, like, how could that not be lower? Because it was like on at a weird time, like it was preempted to be on it. Do you remember this in like 99? Like there'd be some times where Raw wouldn't be on till like 11 o'clock. They'd advertise like next week Raw live or at 11 p.m. because there'd be like the Dog Show on the USA Network before it. Or there'd be some sort of like presidential speech or something that would preempt it, maybe be on Tuesday night that week or something else. But either way, what I'm rating the historic low, 2.47 million viewers. So the question is, historically low, should WWE be worried by this number? I'm in the majority of 62% of our Twitter votes that said no. 38% said yes. Start with you, Brandon. Should WWE be worried?
No, not at all. I don't see any issues with it. Number one, we've talked about it before with the the summer, the weather and stuff like that. People are out doing things, so
But this is historic. This isn't like
it's summertime.
It's the summer low. This is the low of all time.
To me, I'm not worried about it because it's the summertime. That's honestly, summertime is very important because a lot of people, they DVR it or they don't watch it. Because here's the thing: a lot of people already see what's going to happen with the pay-per-view. So a lot of WWE fans are smart enough to know, okay, what am I really going to miss on Monday Night Raw? They're not going to really.
I say that every week.
But when you have a go-home show before the pay-per-view, what are you really missing? You're not really missing much usually. So, especially with one of the other pay-per-views, what I call them, you're not really missing much. There wasn't much. There was a few interesting tidbits, but it's not like
this was a go-home show before SummerSlam or WrestleMania.
If this 2.47 million viewers received was all-time low before a major pay-per-view like SummerSlam or WrestleMania, then I would be very concerned. Yes, because those are the ones where you pull out all the stops. You're doing something interesting
to sell the
show.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, to sell the pay-per-view. To these shows, the Extreme Rules, like these other non-Core 4 or Core 5, pay-per-views that we talk about all the time. They're not really. I feel like creatives just been. They're kind of like going into these shows kind of lazy.
So for the most part, I don't think that they should be worried because that's not how they're essentially approaching it. And that's the problem I have with wrestling nowadays. That is the problem, that they're not worried is the problem I have with professional wrestling. Raw is 3 hours long and I don't watch all of it. And the problem I have with that is that people like Triple H don't care if I watch all of it. He's even said publicly, and people in WWE have said publicly, we want you to tune in and then tune out and then tune back in and then tune out. They're okay with that. And that's the problem I have with WWE nowadays, that they know there's so much content out there that they would rather have more content and have you tune in for 60% of it than have good content in a shorter period of time and have you try to tune in for 100% of it.
Yeah,
they're okay with WrestleMania being 8 hours long if you tune in for the beginning and you tune in for the end because you tuned in. Like Stephanie McMahon, Triple H have said this. They say, there's just so much going on that, we're okay with big numbers at the beginning, bigger numbers in the middle. They actually have done the numbers by the hour, and they're okay with doing that instead of as a whole show. they're okay with the fact that it drops off at 10 o'clock but picks back up at 11 o'clock. And that's the problem I have, because that shows that that's how they're writing the show. They're writing the show of, yeah, who cares? This is a throwaway segment. People are going to tune out because Monday Night Football's on. As long as we get them to tune back in or come in later in the night.
To be honest, the only time I ever tune out to Monday Night Raw is when my football team's on. That's it.
I mean, I tune out for a lot. I don't ever tune out for any other Monday night shows, I guess, because I don't have any. I don't really watch too much television outside of sports and stuff. I'll tune out, obviously, if I'm not there or if I'm watching a sporting event. Baseball's a big one. But I don't tune out to go put on Cupcake Wars. I don't do that. I don't ever do that.
Yeah, I don't do that either. It's to me, it's if I miss a show, it's because I'm watching football. Like, as a Cowboys fan, if the Cowboys are on Monday Night Football,
so it's not because you're watching basketball or baseball or any other sports?
It depends. If it's Syracuse, yes, I'm watching.
You're talking about Syracuse Crunch hockey, I'm assuming, right? He's a huge hockey fan. He doesn't want you to know it.
Absolutely.
He makes sure he follows nothing hockey, talks nothing hockey ever. That's all his ploy, because deep inside, he's the biggest hockey fan you'll ever meet.
That's pretty good. Syracuse, if it's Syracuse basketball or football, but football's usually not on a Monday. If you get the Monday night basketball game, then I might tune out. Generally, it's sports. Cowboys are my team. So and here's the thing: if it's Sunday night football, the only thing I will get rid of on a Sunday night pay-per-view is for Sunday night football. If the Cowboys are playing, I'm watching that instead. I'll watch pay-per-view the next day.
Oh,
that's because I'm a football fan first. Football is my favorite thing to watch. So if the Cowboys are on, if it's like the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Carolina Panthers, I'll probably just say, okay, I'm good. I'll watch pay-per-view. But if it's my favorite team, I don't miss a game. That's just how it is. Just like you are with the Chiefs. You don't want to miss games.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Luckily, I don't ever have that problem really on Sunday nights. Sunday night baseball doesn't really ever feature any of the teams, and my team normally plays on Sunday afternoon if I'm going. But again, there have been times where, I missed maybe like the first half an hour of a pay-per-view or something, getting home from something. But most of the time, pay-per-views take precedent what's going on that night. And, there's obviously the 2 TV thing. I've done that where I have 2 TVs going if, a big sporting event is going on.
You would. You would. You are one of those people that do that. I'm always focused on the one thing at a time. I can't, flip it.
But here's why I say WWE should be worried, even though I voted for the most part they shouldn't be worried. Here's why I think there's a part of them that should be worried, and that's the big money that WWE has been attracting lately for these shows. To have an all-time low of viewers right when you're selling Raw and SmackDown for all-time high prices is a little concerning for people like the people in the Fox business who just bought SmackDown.
Well, too bad, so sad, and you already paid for it. I'm just saying, the contract, the ink's already dried. So at this point, not to say WWE doesn't care, but maybe they think, okay, well, who cares? You just signed us to a big contract. I don't think Vince would do that. Vince is always going to, try to give it a halfway decent product. But you could stick it to somebody if you wanted to and say, yeah, you lock us into the primetime slot on a certain day of the week, but we're going to give you a crap product. But you just paid a lot of money for it.
So let's get your tweet of the week this week.
All right. So my tweet of the week, and this is something that we've talked about before. I know you're a huge proponent of this, so you're going to be very happy.
I'm
about
excited.
this.
I do not know what's coming up.
So, the tweet of the week comes from, it's Justin with a cool emoji. I think that's a shooting star. It's at Justin _ I'm guessing S of OK. Not sure what that is, but great tweet. He says, my God, Daniel Bryan is so powerful, he summoned Pyro back into WWE. And I know you're a big Pyro guy, so once I saw that, I was like, I got to put that as tweet of the week. So I got to ask you, what did you think about the Pyro?
To be honest with you, I mean, I was kind of tuning in and out. There was Pyro this week on SmackDown,
100%
with Kane.
Yeah, no, it was Daniel Bryan who did the Kane thing. It took him a couple times, and then the Pyro popped out.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Good
now.
stuff.
I did see, but I didn't. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I wasn't really aware.
He had 2 TVs on, folks,
with Kane, and I guess I didn't really catch it. And unfortunately, hopefully WWE's not listening, because they're like, well, they didn't catch it. Then what the hell was the point of doing that? We're going to get rid of that real quick.
Yeah, right.
But I am a big a proponent of Pyro. I think that is something that they should bring back when it comes to all the money that they're spending on or getting from Fox.
Exactly.
But I didn't catch.
Bring Pyro back.
Probably
man.
because of the fact that I didn't know it was. I just have lived now without it. Other than at WrestleMania, I'm not looking for it. And for the most part, Raw and SmackDown, I try to watch the beginnings of them, and they don't feature anything. So I guess it caught me a little off guard that there was pyro. I'll have to go back and watch.
Yes,
the pyro.
Highly recommend.
But yeah,
not bad.
Again, doesn't even have to be used a ton. And it's crazy to think that WWE doesn't use pyro, because I watch like professional wrestling from 20 years ago, like just DVD only federations kind of, and they even had like some, Ring of Honor, they have pyro. New Japan Wrestling. I mean, we're not talking big WrestleMania displays.
Just a couple little fireworks, little poppers, something to get the crowd juiced up. To me, growing up as a kid, I always look forward to that.
I wonder though if WWE feels that they can't go back. Either they have to put on a big show, or I feel like they can't
just put a little. I mean,
they can't do the Ring of Honor like from the lights, like boom boom. Like they can't do that. They feel like maybe if we do it, we got to do it.
Here's my thing: certain wrestlers gives them. I'll steal our good friend Paul's word: je ne sais quoi. So when Brock Lesnar does his little thing when he comes out and he kind of throws his hands up, I was so used to the pyro, and then when he does it, it doesn't have the effect anymore. So for guys like that, there's certain guys that need the pyro, and Brock's one of those guys.
I would be fine keeping it to maybe the guys, keeping it to certain wrestlers,
certain superstars. Yeah, I say it has to be certain people. You can't just give it to Finn Balor. You can't give it. I mean, I love Finn. You can't give it to everybody down the line. You can't just say.
I think you should have it at the
it.
start of the show. You don't need it huge. You just need maybe one firework at the start of the show.
No, I would do a little. Pop, pop, pop,
yeah. I mean, I'd be great if they brought back
nothing
more,
crazy,
but I'm saying if they're gonna just bring back a little bit, that's fine with just maybe one thing at the start of the show, and then one or two guys in the actual show.
I don't mind the 1 to 2 guys in the show. I want to see the pyro at the beginning of the show. I don't even if it's just something small. Maybe it's not compared to what it used to be back in the day when I was a kid, but something halfway decent where it's you get a couple pop 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 pop, and then I'm like, all right, cool, all right, we're on. Show starts. I always like that. And you hear the old school music in the background when you hear the pops. You hear Jim Ross talking. Oh, we're live in Buffalo, New York. And you
I've noticed that they're not even, for the most part, they don't even try to give off. I saw this because I was watching the beginning of SmackDown this week. They're in Manchester, New Hampshire. Don't even say they put up the graphic saying where they were. It's just kind of the show started.
Yeah, I don't even think they mentioned it. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they mentioned it.
They used to put up the graphic, where they were.
I always liked that Jim Ross was we're live at this, whatever arena it might be, and he said Buffalo, New York, or back in the day, they could say, they're at the live in Syracuse, New York at the War Memorial, things like that. That was cool. I like that. Little things like that I notice. I wish they would bring things like that back, to be honest with you.
So I couldn't really find anything great in the tweet of the week world, but I did find something that is of interest on the internet. WWE this week put together a photo shoot with a lot of current superstars doing old ECW style poses, I guess. We have Rusev dressed up as Cactus Jack. We have Shinsuke Nakamura doing Sabu. I'm looking at him right now.
Tommy Dreamer. We got, what was
Shinsuke as Sabu right here we're looking at.
And Tommy Dreamer. So how did you go with the Becky Lynch Tommy Dreamer thing? What do you think?
I mean, that's her
cool.
kind of wearing a shirt.
Oh, the Dudley Boys. I like that.
Yeah, the Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods doing the Dudley Boys. What else do we got? We got Sonya Deville as Raven. I mean, that's kind of cool.
I like that. That's cool.
I think one of the better ones, even though he's not really an ECW guy, looking at Rusev as Cactus Jack right now, is Lana did. Well, Lana's doing Sandman here.
That's cool.
But it's Carmella was doing Al Snow. I thought that was pretty good. Looking at Aiden English doing Paul Heyman. Yeah, there's Carmella as Al Snow. I mean,
that's cool.
Al Snow's never looked better, I want to say.
What do we want? Head.
And
I love that.
And I would love to chant that especially to our good friend Carmella. I mean, more so than Al Snow.
That is true.
But here's one I'm just coming across now.
Though.
This is one that's actually, I think I'm coming across right now, which I think is really cool. Xavier Woods as New Jack. New Jack, remember, is a person that WWE tries their best to mention as least. He never made it over in the ECW expansion, and probably for good reason. He was the most extreme of the extreme.
Yeah.
A little too extreme for WWE. But it's kind of cool seeing Xavier Woods as New Jack.
That's pretty cool.
Looking at Asuka as part of the Blue World Order. Either way, it's something you should check out on WWE.com.
That was like your thing.
So that's
of the week.
my internet of the week.
Internet find
You can
of the
find
week.
it on Twitter, so it could be a tweet of the week. You just,
Internet-
I'm quoting WWE.
So it's the internet.
They have a Twitter account.
So
they
it's
count, right?
So we'll make it Jared's internet find of the week.
Jared's internet find of the week.
Like it.
All right, so that's going to do it for our social media Smackdown of the week. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure to follow Icebreaker21, myself, Jared Wicks, on Twitter. And most importantly, the program at Heel to the Face.